Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce us from group 6 will be present the result of the discussion about the communication language learning. Before going to the matter, introduce the group members. My name is Aida Fareza. My NPM A1B020062.
I'm Ririn Yuriska with NPM A1B020064.
I am Dia Indarolinska with NPM.
My name is Dikir Hadi with NPM A1B020040.
The first material will be read by Ririn. To Ririn, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. The first, background of community language learning. Community language learning is the name of method developed by Carles Keren and in Chicago 1995. It is sometimes cited as an example of a humanistic approach and derives its primary insight from counseling. It is an approach in which students work together to develop what aspect of language they would like to learn. The teacher acts as a counselor while the learner acts as a collaborator, although sometimes this role can be changed. Community language learning was primarily designed for monolingual conversation classes where the teacher counselor would be able to speak and learners. It is a method that is based on English for communication and is extremely learn focused. Next, goals of community language learning. 1. To learning language communicatively, and 2. To take responsibility for learning, and the last, to approach the task non-defensively, never separating intellect from feeling. And the next approach. Non-defensive learning required security, acquisition, reflection, attention, retention, and discrimination. Cooperation encourage the teacher, the student together make decision in class. And then their returning teaching style is correct form are models. Next, principle. Principle 1, learning is persons, and 2, learning is dynamic and creative. Role of the teacher. The teacher's initial role is primarily that of a counselor. This meant that the teacher recognize how they're turning a new learning situation can be for adult learners, should skillfully understand and support his student in their struggle to master the target language. And the last, role of the student. Initially, the learners are very dependent upon the teacher. As learners continue to study, they become increasingly independent.
Thank you for the reading the material. The next material will be read by me. Is usual classroom technique. 1. Tape recording student conversation. The technique is used to allow students to record their voice in the target language while they are in the conversation. 2. Transcription. The transcription in the process, student official write down their record words and conversation through a tape record. Then the counselor write them on the blackboard. 3. A relative listening. The students are asked to listen together with others the English monologue with the counselor read the student transcript. 5. Human computer. Teacher stand behind student. Teacher repeat a dozen correct. Interaction among student. Student fill in the control responsible. And the last, small group tasks. The small group tasks, students are in full in small group with their various tasks, preparing conversation, preparing topic summaries for presentation to other groups. And the next material will be read by Vicky. Time is yours.
Design. Often, those who employ CLL approach will develop a national functional syllabus. National means ideas. For example, a teacher might develop units on leisure, shopping, business, etc. Functional means using language for real-world activities. For example, in the shopping unit, students would use language related to shopping. This way of developing lessons is different from other methods such as grammar translation with its focus on grammar. In CLL, the student use the language in various real-world settings. To measure focus of CLL are on fluency and accuracy. The development of these two abilities take place through such activities as role plays, sharing information, and expressing one's opinion. During these activities, the teacher encourages and supports students through their success and failure with the language. Instructional materials are based on the text, task, realia, or technology. The goal is always to have students model real-world behavior. The text might be an actual newspaper or article. The tasks might be interviews. Realia might be graphs on charts. Lastly, the technology could be blogs or developing videos.
Thank you for Diki. For material, the next material read by Dia. Dia, time is yours.
Grade advantages. 1. Counselor allows the learners to determine the type of conversation and analyze the language individually. 2. The student-centered nature of the method can provide extrinsic motivation and capitalize it and intrinsic motivation. 3. Works well with lower level students who are struggling in spoken English. 4. Lower student anxiety and overcome threatening effective filter. 5. It creates a warm, sympathetic, and trusting relationship between teacher and learners. 6. Train students to become independent. Next, Disan- disadvantages. 1. Counselor, the teacher can become the non-directive. Student often need direction. 2. Translation is an intricate and difficult task. The success of the method relies largely on the translation expertise of the counselor. 3. Some learners find it difficult to speak on tape. 4. In order for students to become independent, teacher might neglect the need for guidance. 5. Teacher has to be highly proficient in the target language and in the language of students. 6. Translation is an intricate and difficult task. The success of this method relies largely on the counselor's translation. 7. It is time consuming to carry out.
And the last is a conclusion. Community language learning or CLL improves student ability to speak skill. CLL performs an important aspect to be continued or applied in the process of teaching speaking skill. Students can express their idea, opinion freely, and most students can work in the group freely. They are more confident and interact in speaking class. Teaching speaking through community language learning is a way to increase motivation and it can stimulate students to use their newly acquired English. That's all the result of our discussion. Hope it helps you. We thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.